I've already taken this bike on its technical ride, the spec sheet ride, where I've tested out how far it can go, how fast it can go, how well it climbs hills and things like that. And this ride is going to be more what this bike is actually built for, and that is riding around my old neighborhood here. This is Indian Lake, Ohio, and I feel like this is the kind of environment where this bike is really, really going to excel. But going back to the original question, can it replace your car? Well, not for everybody, obviously. I live out in the country now. I don't live in this little community anymore. And I have a 32-mile commute to work, so I'm not going to be able to ride something like this to work. But in a little neighborhood like this, where you're close enough to a dollar store and close enough to a grocery store and close enough to go get your morning coffee, this is going to be a great little bike to own. When it comes to evaluating transportation, you need a vehicle that is reliable, can go fast enough, and can go far enough. And this bike meets all three of those criteria, in this neighborhood anyway. About the fastest speed we'll get up to is about 35 miles per hour in this neighborhood. And this bike is capable of doing 30 miles per hour top speed, and it can do it with my weight for a range of 44 miles. I tested its speed and range out in my other video about this bike. You can check it out for yourself. The numbers don't lie. And I ride this thing like it's a little motorcycle. I make the bike do all of the work. Going through here, this is the main drag of my old neighborhood. And this bike is more than capable of keeping up with traffic here, where the speed is 25 miles per hour. This bike's got good, strong, reliable hydraulic disc brakes, and where it's important to have a bike that is fast enough to run with traffic, it's just as important to have good stopping power. Up to this point, I've been running the bike in unlocked mode, so I've been able to hit a top speed of 30 miles per hour. But really, that's going to be a little bit too powerful for where I'm going to go next. That's going to be over on the pedestrian. It's a bike trail, but it's also pedestrian friendly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lock the bike back into its locked mode so it has a top speed of 20 miles per hour. The way you do this is you turn the bike off, twist the throttle, hold your left brake lever over here, turn the bike on, continue to hold the brake and throttle, and you'll see the screen flash. And now it's locked back, and now it's back in lock mode. When I want to go back into unlock mode, I just repeat that process again. Turn the bike off, hold your throttle and brake lever at the same time, turn the bike on, and continue to hold your throttle and brake lever until the screen flashes. Then you'll be in unlock mode. And as we can see here, the bike is capping out at 20 miles per hour. It is a hot one today. It's over 90 degrees Fahrenheit out, so I'm really glad to be on a bike and not hoofing it. It's as I said, this bike is built for a community like this. This bike has a throttle override, so as you'll see right now, I'm pedaling in pedal assist level 1, and the bike is helping me get up to about 12, 13 miles per hour. But if I hit the throttle, it's going to override that and take me up to the bike's top speed. Right now that's 20 miles per hour because I've got it set in a more pedestrian mode, but if I have the bike unlocked, the throttle override is going to take me up to 30 miles per hour. Probably the most important feature that this bike has is its massive battery. It's got an 18 amp hour 48 volt battery, and you can ride on this battery for a very, very long distance. But you've also got the option to upgrade to a second rear battery. What are these guys doing? The second battery add-on is going to give you another 23 amp hours of battery life, and that's going to give you a tremendous range. And as I mentioned before, I put that to the full test in another video. Be sure to check that out if this bike interests you. The form factor of this bike is really pretty interesting. At a glance, it is a little weird looking, but it's got a step-through frame, 16-inch wheels, And that makes it very easy to get on and off of, especially for somebody who may have mobility issues. But with it being a bike that sits low to the ground, the seat does sit far enough away from the pedals that you can get a good full pedal stroke if you do want to pedal this bike. And as I mentioned before, if you do go with the dual battery mod and you choose to pedal this bike all the time, you may not need to charge these batteries very often. It's got a lot of stored energy. Though this bike is perfect for bopping around a quiet neighborhood, it's also a perfect vacationeer's bike. If you're going to go camping for a few days and you want to have a convenient transportation appliance, it's good to have something that can store a lot of energy so you don't have to worry about that range anxiety. I would also say that if you're going to use this for something like a dedicated campground bike, you're going to be able to go a long time in between charges. I weigh 190 pounds, this bike weighs 110 pounds, and as I mentioned before, I was able to get 44 miles out of this bike, riding it at wide open throttle the entire time. So if you're going to do casual riding around and pedaling like what I'm doing now, this bike is going to get a phenomenal range. Where this bike suffers is its off-road potential, and I'll keep this one short. It's got these 16-inch wheels and a hardtail rear frame, so it does not do a great job of absorbing all of the dips and bumps along the way. Luckily, I'm in grass now, so this is kind of soft. But when you get into really hard off-roading, this is definitely not the bike for it. Now, you can cut across a grass yard, no problem, and it's going to be able to hold up for it. But it's not something I would want to do for a really long ride. Oh my goodness. If this bike had a rear suspension, it would do a lot better job of soaking up some of these dips and bumps, but that would also add a lot to the weight and a lot to the weight in the rear end of the bike. And that's another area that this bike suffers in. A lot of the weight is over the rear wheel, especially with the second battery modification. It really kind of makes this bike feel like a little lightweight Vespa type scooter with all of the weight being in the rear and over the rear wheel. Oh, I'm happy to be back on solid ground now. This bike excels on pavement for sure. Okay, let's take a walk around this bike now and I can show you what we get. And one of the most important things for me these days with an e-bike is making sure that it has a rear rack for mounting things on. And with this thing being something that is supposedly able to replace your car, being able to carry stuff is very, very important. As you can see, we've got the secondary battery mount here, and this is something that I had to install myself. So if you order this bike with the second battery mod, you're going to have to install that yourself. Now the nice thing is, they make it very easy. They sent an instructional video where I could watch everything and see how to do it. There's a plate that sits down here on the bottom, and once you put this battery in, you can unplug it with these two blue plugs and remove it, but it's really easier just to leave it in and charge it on the bike. Another thing to keep in mind is that it has this power button here, so when you charge it, you want to turn that off and turn it back on when you're ready to use it. Otherwise, it'll run your front battery out and it won't pull anything from this battery. And the way to tell that it's on is you can see that green light there. So that's how you tell that the battery's turned on. Now, as good as the batteries are with being big and powerful and being able to store a lot of energy, the downside to that is that it takes a really long time to charge these batteries. The bike includes one charging cable and it's a 3-amp charger. This is an 18 amp hour battery in the front, 23 amp hour battery in the back, so it takes about 6 hours to charge the front battery and 8 hours to charge the back battery. And with the one cable, you have to charge the front battery first, then charge the rear battery second. They're not connected together in the charging unless I've been doing something wrong. So it took me about 6 hours to charge the dead battery in the front and 8 hours to charge the battery in the rear. Now the good thing is that You really don't have to charge these batteries very often, but when you do, you got to make a day of it. We got 16-inch Chow Yang tires, solid cast rims, nice bright headlight, BMX style handlebars, and we've got some adjustment with the handlebars where you can loosen this up and raise the handlebars up and pull them back if you want. So you've got a lot of ability to make the bike fit you. I've got the seat set to about that height right there. I'm 5'10", and we've got quite a bit of range of motion on the seat, so we can take it up as that high right there or go all the way down. My son is 4'11". He can ride this bike, but he can't flat foot it. The controls are very basic and simple, but that's not a bad thing. The screen is easy to read, high contrast, colorful. As I mentioned before, we've got hydraulic disc brakes, and they are 160mm disc brakes. We've got a spot to mount a water bottle. To pull this battery out, this is your key to unlock it, and then there's a trigger here to drop it all the way out. It's kind of heavy, so I'm not going to pull it out of there. Got dual crown forks in the front, and that's the only suspension that this bike has. The seat is fairly comfortable. For any really super long rides, you could probably upgrade it, but this bike covers so much ground so fast when it's unlocked that you really don't need a seat that's any more comfortable than this. I haven't needed one anyway. We've got plastic fenders front and rear. We've got a brake light and tail light in the back, though it doesn't have turn signals. Engwe sent out a few accessories to go with this bike. I did not have time to put those on before I brought the bike out for a ride today, but I will show what those look like mounted on here before I end this video. Here's what the bike looks like with the baskets installed. We got our front basket up front, the big basket in the rear if you want to use that for something like food delivery. And my goodness, I just heard some nasty thunder, so I'm going to get this packed up and get it out of the rain. And you all know how baskets work, so I don't think I need to over-explain this part. Engwe also sent this rear toddler seat out for demonstration purposes. That would go on the back where that back basket is. It is getting ready to thunderstorm out here, so I gotta hustle to get things packed up. And I don't have a toddler in my life. There's absolutely no reason that I would put this on the bike, but this is a very comfortable, cushy, padded seat, and it goes on very easy with those 4 bolts there. And there is also a grab handle that goes on here and stirrups that go on the side, and it's got a safety belt. I'm going to show a picture of what this looks like on the bike, so I don't have to go through putting it on there just to take it back off. But yeah, I gotta hustle and get packed up because it is getting ready to cut loose out here. I've been using this rear rack bag that I got cheap off of Amazon that is just more convenient for me to carry my camera gear, but I can see the point where if you wanted to carry a lot of stuff and this was going to replace your car, you would definitely want to go with the baskets for sure. So my final thoughts on the Engwe L16. I think an e-bike should be either fun or practical or both, and this one is definitely both. It's fun to ride with its torquey little 16-inch wheels. It's got a lot of practicality with its rack and the way it's built, and just with how much range you can get out of it. Not only range, but speed too. As far as can it replace your car? Well, let's just say that if you have a Maserati that does 185, but you lost your license and now you don't drive, well, Joe, this might just be the bike for you. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.